Okay, I'm going live.
Ooh, I better make sure I'm calibrated then.
We are live.
Okay.
Just haven't started yet, that's all,
Okay.
But here's the music. I don't know if you can hear it.
No, can't hear it.
Well, that's because the stream. I guess you guys are listening through the stream,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not through my broadcaster or whatever.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
Ooh, I better make sure I'm calibrated. Ooh, my mouth moves with it now. Look at that.
Okay, you can stay like that.
Okay.
You can be. Yeah, your eyes are still twitching like you're on caffeine, but that's okay. And so let's put a.
Oh, it's cool music. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's cool.
All right, I just wanted to let you guys know that if you want to, before we get started, you can pull up the document on the RSI website. It's called Death of a Spaceman. That's going to be the primary topic of tonight's show. So bring that up. We're going to just do a lot of discussion on that topic, in addition to other topics, but that's the main one. So if you want to have it up, because at the bottom there's a bunch of questions and answers, and what I'm going to do is ask us in turn those different questions and kind of figure out what our answers would be too, from a player's perspective. Okay, so let's get this show started. All right, guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of From the Verse. This is number 8. I have it down as Consequences and Rewards, and we are going to talk about risks and the consequences of risking your cargo ship life, and then basically we're going to dig deep into that and find out how that's going to impact you as you play. And today we have with us... We have Paraset on your left, and he's the one that's the green alien.
Hello. How are you?
And we also have Cat's Lion. He's over on your right, and he is our merchant group leader for our squadron, and we are going to discuss all things Star Citizen. And if you haven't seen our previous shows, go ahead, go to YouTube. You can actually pick those up, watch them, at your leisure. Tell your friends, invite them to the show. We're glad to have them. Okay, so now let's talk about the consequences. Okay, so let's talk about... Well, first of all, let's talk about what we're doing in Star Citizen to get ready for Star Citizen. Who wants to start? Parasit, what are you doing What are you doing in the real world to get ready for Star Citizen?
In the real world,
Yeah, like what are you doing?
I'm still working. Well, as you can see, I'm still working on my alien costume. Uh, and so far, it's working really well. But other than that, yeah, in the real world, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
is that too hard?
I'm running Arena Commander
There
every
you
once
go.
in a while,
There you go.
and I'm practicing.
Good.
And I don't know if I'm getting any better than Cat's Lion. Cats is up there, and you are up there. I'm
am?
still trying. I'm still working on
Oh
it.
man.
See,
apparently-
Parasit
I
is the master of sublimation or whatever that is, where he will throw himself, down to make everybody else look better.
Yeah, I
He's
guess
the
so,
master at
because,
that.
Because I think I've only ever played it like 3 times so far, so I apparently have a what's reputation that I didn't even know I had.
But you can. What else are you doing there, Pierce? Is that it? Pretty much, you're just playing Arena Commander, trying to practice and get ready for like multiplayer when they finally release that for us.
I also watch every movie that comes out. Everything that comes out, I'm keeping track of.
Okay. Yeah, you got to definitely do that. That's
A lot to keep track of.
it is. It is. I mean,
Lot
they're
going
constantly
on.
coming out with new stuff. What about you, Cats? What are you doing?
Well, as if anyone who's watching this who watched last week's knows, I was getting my my Rhino, and
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take this. This might be a little jumpy, but so I finally actually got my Rhino. Got my setup. There's the throttle. Got my joystick
cool.
over there. I got my whole gaming setup. So I got my 5.1 surround sound. I've got my my joystick, and then I got the Sabertooth controller if I need to. My Black Widow. I'm decked out with with a good probably like about $1,200 worth of just gaming peripherals, let alone just the computer. So
Nice.
that's what I did. I've been trying to get myself set up with a lot of actually really good gaming gear so that I can be ready for when this game finally comes out. So that's what I've been doing.
Hey, it's a professional show as we are here. We got all these phones ringing in the background.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yep.
good. Hey,
Busy offices.
yeah, we never claimed
Our
to be
offices are
professional.
busy.
Yeah, that's right. They're calling in for an airstrike.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, let me tell you, what I've been doing is nothing. No, what have I been doing? I ordered a 770, a GTX 770 for my computer because the 660 was just not handling enough. And my understanding is I'm going to get about double the performance. So I'll make some videos when it comes out, when I get it Friday. I should be getting it Friday. Before that time, I'm going to do some 770 stress tests and record the numbers. And then once I get the 660 stress test. And once I get the 770 put in, I'll do some stress test, and then we'll compare the numbers and see if it actually did help or not. And then, which I know it will. But what else did I do? I play a lot. I play Arena Commander about once a day is what I'm doing. I'm not going overboard because I don't want to burn out myself on just Arena Commander. I'm hoping for like more ships to choose from, or more mission types, or even releasing the multiplayer to me, because I know they've only released it to like the first 200,000, and I'm sitting at 230,000 or something like that. So I'm like probably in the next group, but they haven't released it to me yet, so I'm still struggling with single player. The highest I've gotten is level 14, wave 14 or whatever. Ever since they did the nerf on the cannons in this last patch, I've only been able to get to like 13. So, and it seems like it doesn't fly the same way. I mean, it goes a lot faster. I can fly faster, it seems like, but it doesn't look like I can like turn as sharp. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me not taking in the speed that I'm flying into account of the turning and stuff. But yeah, it's still fun as hell, but I just can't play more than 15 waves at one sitting. I'll sit there and I'll just play and play and play and play. Half hour, 45 minutes later, I get my final life gets destroyed, and then I go, okay, I'm done with that. Let's move on to something else, because I just did 15 waves of it, or 13 waves nowadays.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, that's us. If you guys are on YouTube, you're more than welcome to post a comment. If we see something, I'm sure we'll ignore it. But I mean, we'll try to get to commenting against it if we have an opportunity to do that. Okay. Let's talk about the current events in the verse. Okay, like what's going on at RSI that's exciting to us. First thing I want to say is, they showed us some PlanetSide artwork and a walkthrough of some ground stuff. like the Coruscant. I mean, I'm sorry, Stanton. So
Wrong universe.
right. But it's a world that's completely one big city, you know, and that it looked really good. All their art looks good. Everything they've ever done that I've seen looks good. I know everything needs to be polished and finished, but they've got some really good artists and, you know, guys working on their. This is what every second that I watched that video, this is what was going through my mind. I could take cover behind that.
Yeah.
That looks like a good place to post up to cover that doorway. You know, I was just constantly thinking, that's first person combat, first person shooter. I know that's not what it's for. I know it's supposed to be like a spaceport. You land, you go buy your stuff. But who's saying that a bandit's not going to be there? Who's saying that you don't want a PvP? You know, or you just don't want to kill that guy that's over there, or whatever. So it looked really good, and I understand that they're working on a lot of worlds at one time, and that one right there was probably the closest to being finished. So they showed that one off, because my understanding is, I think it's. They've got a studio. I can't remember which one it is, but I don't think it's not the UK. It's not the guys in Austin. It's not the guys in LA, or it's not the guys in Denver. I think it's the guys in Mexico.
I think isn't there one in France as well?
They're the ones doing the website.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They might also be doing PlanetSide's assets. They might be, but I think it's the guys in Mexico. But I could be wrong. I'm just pulling that out of my hat. They don't have just one world. Like, they're not just doing Stanton and they put 20 guys on that to do it. No, they have 20 worlds, one guy per world, and he's doing Stanton. And then another guy's doing another world, another guy's doing. And so that means they're making them all. I mean, that might not be exactly the case too. They might have 2 or 3 on each one or whatever. But what it tells me is they're making them all in conjunction, like all at the same time. So when they're able to release one, they're going to be able to release 20 or pretty close to it. You know, it's not just one, okay, now wait 2 more months, 2, wait 2 more months, 3. No, they're going to have them like all finished all at the same time. And that's exciting to me initially for the first release, because you got to have a ton of maps to make the game fun. You just can't have one map and you're running around. Right? Okay. I see Paraset's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
What do you call it? That's what do you guys think of that video? It's like a 5-minute video of Stanton and the work they've done there.
I love it.
Yep, same here. That's exactly what I say. Amazing. My jaw dropped when I saw that. I was like, this game, if they're going to have a large enough worlds, I mean, I understand that they can't do huge, massive things, but if they're going to have large worlds that are relatively unique for every planet, different places like this, and this is what they're going to look like, I am so excited now to not be in my ship. This is the first time that I've not wanted to be in my ship.
Right.
So I'm really excited for this. It'll be amazing.
It didn't look like there was a place to land.
Yeah.
Right? But but that's not. There is. It's just off screen. What it is you land. There's probably a cutscene of you landing on a landing pad out in the middle of BFE somewhere, and then on a large. Not a field. It might be a field, but not on Stanton though. On like a large landing strip with like 20 ships landed there or whatever. You get out, and then you walk to a door, and then you go into this area. You know, like there's one of those areas is this concourse that you're supposed to like look to see what ships are available to go to different planets and cargoes and stuff like that. And so the ship landing stuff, it's all done probably on like an adjacent map, and then you walk through a door that brings you into this area. That's kind of the way I envision it. I could be wrong. They could just only be showing us half the map, you know.
Yeah, you know the thing that I kind of worry about that they do in all MMOs is that I guess the only one that I've ever played, but I know they do it in others. Knights of the Old Republic, or what is it?
Yeah,
or the MMO version or whatever.
That's Kotar
it?
or whatever.
Oh yeah, KOTOR. Okay. Everybody landed in the exact same. Well, okay. How it worked is everyone had there's like 6 or 7 different ships, and
Right.
that ship would correspond into a particular hangar that it'd go to. But everyone landed in it. Everyone landed in. If it was the Sith fighter, everyone landed in that same one.
So when you
And-
got out, you saw the same Sith fighter that everybody else sees.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah.
yours. It's not theirs. It's the generic one.
Yeah, it's a generic everything. And what sucked about that is there's no they're trying to get you into the game like it's your ship, but then you realize it's not. So it'd be awesome to be able to, when you land and you get out of your ship, you can turn around and you can see Mr. E. There's your constellation shutting off to the left. There's Parasit's. I don't even know what ships you have. Parasit actually. I think that you have the Hornet.
I have the Hornet,
no.
I have the Aurora, and I have
Yeah.
a 315.
Okay, so yeah, it's and then you see his 315 sitting there. The whole squadron, lands all right there, and then we can all get out and go do that. And while other people were landing and taking, other available spots, we get out. Our squadron will take off, and another group will land. And I hope that's how it is. I think that'd be really cool and bring a real sense of realism, to the game. Just that little bit, but I don't know if that can even happen in games right now. So.
I think it will. I think they're going to put us in instances, so it'll be limited in how many people are landed on our version of that planet. So we're going to see our friends landed, and maybe some of our enemies or people that we have designated as hostiles to us or whatever. If they're on that planet, then we would see their ship landed. But the other million people that land on that planet, we're not going to see because they're going to be separated into instances. How big those instances are is that I don't know.
Which I'm fine with. I would just hope that it's just unique. Every time you land, that there's a different group of ships or something. I'm hoping that there's like three or four different landing areas that you can go to, and
I think there will. I think there will because there's supposed to be 10 times as many NPCs as there are PCs. So I'm going to expect if the player lands, 9 NPCs are going to land too.
Oh, good. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or they'll take off. They'll get cargo. They'll unload cargo, and there'll be an active environment, and we're just going to be part of it, which I think is super cool.
Yeah. And
Okay, let's move on from that. Now Jump Point 20 came out. I don't know if you guys read that. I just kind of thumbed through it. It came out like one show too late because the Mustang was in it.
Yep.
And I talked about the Mustang in the last show. But they got the Mustang, which looks really awesome. I still think it's not worth it. But that's my personal opinion. I think it's just it should be cheap. If it's super inexpensive ship, in game, then that's its value.
Yeah.
But, and then what else was in there? There was the consolidated, the Mustang. Of course, the storyline that they continue, the Lost and Found. But then what was the first story? I'm trying to remember. There's only like 3 different topics. But either way, it's out. And if you guys are subscribers, go check that out. It's super awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Well, the first one, are you talking about the first one was what you were just talking about. It was about the Mustang.
Oh, okay. Then what was the second one?
That Consolidated Outland.
But that's the Mustang too.
And then what? The Consolidated Outland?
Yeah.
Well, the other was the behind the scenes as far as the asteroid hangar. Did everybody see that? That video, the video that they did of the asteroid hangar? Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
but what was the topic of the?
It was Bremen. They also covered something about Bremen.
Oh yeah, the planet. Yeah. There's something else that I'm spacing. I don't remember. 2 major topics.
Okay.
One was the ship, and then another one was something else.
All right. I actually have it open.
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking through it, and I'm seeing all the stats on the Mustang.
Yeah.
And making the asteroid hangar.
Right. Which we talked about like 2 weeks ago.
Yep. And let's see what else here. But yeah, there's Man, that's a long thing on the asteroid hangar. It's like almost
Yeah.
20 or 30 pages on the asteroid hangar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, Bremen. What I was just saying, Bremen.
And that was
Bremen
probably,
system.
and then it goes into the story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then that was it then.
Yeah,
Maybe
Lost
it was
and Found.
Yeah, Lost and Found. I've been reading those. The Lost and Found's about a guy that bought a cutlass, and it's not stock. It's been modified, so he believes that it was a repossession or something, And so, yeah, it's kind of cool. But no, the too much work has gone into the asteroid hangar. That's my personal opinion, because I don't want to sound like a jerk or a dick or some punk, but I could care less about the asteroid hangar. I do not care that there's an asteroid hangar out there. I know there are a lot of guys that do. They're excited about that. And I understand the game designers want to make something, a variety of different things, and have it as an option, and that's cool. But they're making a big deal about this asteroid hangar. And they never made a big deal about, the basic hangar. The one that's the cheapest little hangar, I think is the best hangar. I think it's the dirtiest, scaffolding. You can trip over the lights. They got cables laying everywhere. That hangar really deserves the most props. I mean, it did. This asteroid hangar does have a lot more in it, but it seems like it's more of a location than a hangar.
Yeah.
Like it's a place you would go to get stuff done, and not, hey, this is my hangar. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe like a guild would have one or something, not just some player. And that's just my opinion. So at the asteroid hangar, yeah, he's okay, but it's all right.
I thought it was pretty cool actually. I'll agree with you, being that we're not a pirate group or organization or anything like that. We'll never have one, so I'm kind of like, it's cool, it looks awesome, but I don't care in the fact that I'm never going to use one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The one thing, like you said though, is it does look really good, and I'm excited to see, because I know you and me both. I think probably all three of us all have the premium hangar or whatever it's called,
right,
or whatever it's called, and I'm excited to see that one PBR'd. See that one, because for right now it's pretty much just like it's like one square, and then the more ships you have, they just like double or triple it.
I think the hangar I have is the business hangar, which is the second one.
Oh, you're the second one. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I've gone up and down through the chain. As you as you buy and sell ships, your hangar changes.
Okay.
With the Retaliator, I would think it would need the biggest hangar though.
Yeah, I would figure, because the Retaliator is almost as big as the Connie. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I'm sure they'll probably give that to you.
Right.
They just don't have it set up for right now. But
right, because right now all I have is a Hornet in my hangar. Hornet and a 300i.
Yeah, so I'm sure once they get that all PBR'd out and more details put in, I'm sure they'll give you the big hangar.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's all I was saying. It's like I really like it, and I'm really excited to see that one all PBR'd. I'm honestly excited to just see them all. Every little bit when it's actually in game, anytime. Like even with those things that we were just talking about a minute ago, I'm excited to see it. It's just like this game looks better and better every time I see something new from it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, let's we got rid of our introduction there, and let's go and talk about our main subject of the show, and that's consequences in the game. There's not a whole lot of games out there that have consequences to failure, but in Star Citizen, Chris Roberts wants to make there a risk so that you get a level or a feeling of accomplishment when you do certain tasks or certain chores. And if there's no risk, then there's no hesitation to take a mission. You just click on every single NPC and you take every single mission and you go out and you do everything, and you're just doing it because it's what's available, right? Where he wants to make it so that some missions are harder than others, and that you're going to get more reward for this and less reward for that. But because of that, there's a higher risk that you're going to die, and a less risk you're going to die over here. So you have to actually choose, do I want to risk myself to go do these tasks, right? Well, there's some topics I wanted to kind of go over with, and primarily, if you guys are at home and you want to pull this up and look at it too, go ahead and pull up Death of a Spaceman as part of the RSI website. It's one of his old posts, like many moons ago he did this post. So things, I believe, have changed, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that might have changed in that Death of a Spaceman. I could be wrong, but these are just vibes I'm picking up. Okay. One of the things is there's no game respawn in a real battle. Okay. You know how in Arena Commander you're in, that's a simulator. That's when, you're just flying around. You're sitting in your hangar actually, and you've got like this holographic scene and noise and everything.
You're playing
flying.
a video game in a video game.
Right, you're playing a video game, right.
Yep.
So that's why it's giving you like 3 lives that you can respawn and do your thing and see how many waves you can get through and everything. Where in the real game, you're not going to have that. You're going to have a mission to go to an asteroid, a terraformer. You're going to be flying over there, and then all of a sudden you're going to get jumped by 5 Vandal, right? And then you better beat them or you're going to get killed. And there's no respawn button, right? So when you die, you go back to your base. Okay, so like when your ship's blown up and you, if you were not to eject, you will have lost a life and you would go back to your base. Or if you do eject, then after a period of time, you will, which this is another topic that we might want to talk about, but there's going to be a period of time where the threat level goes down and then you can respawn at your base. So what they're implying is that a rescue ship will come out and get you and take you back to your base, the last place you had landed. And so let's say you and I are out there and we're playing and we're fighting 20 Vandal or whatever, and I just happen to be something stupid and blow up, like because I wrecked myself into the side of a terraformer or something, and I don't eject and I die, and I respawn in a couple of minutes at the last base we landed at, which just happened to be 2 systems away, right? It's going to take me forever to get back to that fight where you were at, and so now you're on your own. There's no me respawning next to you 5 minutes later. A little bit like MechWarrior, because when you play MechWarrior, you got your 12 guys, and that's it. When they die, they don't come back. You have to wait for them. You got to wait for the next mission, right? Well, these aren't missions. This is like an ongoing, continuous stream, if you want to look at it like that. Okay, so I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping around. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So what do you think about that? What do you think about not being able to respawn back at the beginning of the battle or something like that, like a respawn point?
I'll let you go first, Parasite.
I like it. I actually like it because it makes it more challenging, at least for me. I don't know about you guys, but it makes it more challenging for me. And it keeps, and I think that's the one thing that all of us have become complacent with in the gaming world is, oh, I'll just respawn again. There are so many of these, so many games where that's what happens. Even EverQuest, you would have another player, and if you if you don't have anyone to resurrect you, well, then you start at the beginning of whatever you're at, and then you can still run it. This is going to be different.
Right. Now, resurrections, this is something I just thought of when you mentioned it. If let's say you're in a fleet and there's multiple players, hundreds maybe in the instance that you guys are in, and you get blown up, but you eject. So you're floating in space, and some guy comes up and rescues you because he's a rescue vessel of some kind, maybe a shuttle type or whatever, and you get tractored into his cargo hold or whatever, and he flies back to the carrier and lets you out. You could probably run over and jump into another Hornet and take off. So in effect, you are respawning, but it's going to require a lot of assets to do that. You can't just do that automatically.
And I'm not sure if that will be in the game, but if it is,
I don't know.
That'll still be within the realm of realism, I guess.
Right.
If you eject and you're completely fine, you could easily just be picked back up and there's a free ship ticket. I don't see why not.
Right.
So I could really see that. But
Okay, let's go to the next topic. Okay, opt out of the Navy. Okay, there's an option where you can decide not to do Squadron 42. So you make your character, you are standing in line to join the Navy, and you decide to take a right-hand turn and go and not join. Okay, that's cool. Why would you want to do that? Or why would you not want to do that? That's the topic of this short conversation.
Well, I guess I'll start on this one.
Okay.
The reason why, well, I guess for me personally, gaming-wise and nerd or geek-wise, I've always loved. I love the Roman Empire. I love the Star Wars, the Empire. I've always wanted to join the military in the real world. So for me, joining the military, something like that, or for the UEE is like, yeah, this is the path I will always take. I've just always loved the idea. I love it. I think it's
right.
having the option to do it.
So that's why you would join.
Yeah.
Why would someone not want to join?
Well, I guess being not wanting to is if you're going as a pirate, you could just start out straight.
Let me back up. I don't care. I'm not talking about personal motivations.
Okay.
I'm talking about rewards and consequences. Why would we not do it? What would our reward for that be?
I guess you get to start earlier. You don't have to do the campaign.
Yeah, you go straight to, but then you're standing there on the street corner with no money.
I think there'll be some way of getting off the planet. I'm sure there'll be some like black. Hey, do you need a? That's how I think it might work. And then you'll have to start on a longer, like kind of like what's the game Payday, where one person can take the go straight into the workforce, and then the other person has to go through college, and the one person can start earning money right off the bat. The other one has to wait 4 years to go through. So you're in debt, but over the long run it might help you. But if you don't want to do that, then you can take the short route and start earning money right then and there. And if it works out better for you, then you can do it that way.
Okay. Well, I think going through as Parasite, do you have anything to add to that, or are you even there? It sounds like you walked off. He turned on his little dinosaur icon and then ran off to go use the bathroom or something. But but okay, my interpretation is the reason why you'd want to join the Navy. First of all, you get to play the campaign. You get to have fun playing the campaign, and I'm always going to do that. First of all, I'm going to unless it becomes tedious. Like if I play it once or twice and then I figure out, well, I've already done this, I don't need to do this again. Then I could just go straight off and not do it. I could see that. Why would I not want to do it? Like you said, what if I was a criminally minded player and I didn't want to have a Navy background? Because it might prevent you from getting certain contracts, because you might. I don't know if this is the case, but I do know they have a reputation system in the game. So if I have like this Navy medal that I'm wearing on my chest or whatever, because if I go through the Squadron 42, I'm going to try to beat it, and then that means I'm going to get some kind of, pat on the back. And then when I get out and I go, okay, now I want to be a pirate, I don't think the pirates are going to trust me. The NPC pirates, the ones that are going to get you those initial missions to go get this or sell this or smuggle this. You're not going to get those missions because now you've got this rep of being like this great Navy pilot that's loyal to the Empire and all that stuff. Yeah. So I think that's one reason why you might not want to do it. Why you would want to do it is just the opposite. What if you do want that pat on the back and you want that medal so that when you go buy a ship that only retirees can buy, you got to have it, So there can be rewards both ways. But I'll tell you right now, 100%, I'm probably never going to experience the dark side. I will probably, every time I make a character or whatever, first of all, they're all going to be descendants of my first character, pretty much. All they're going to be beneficiaries, but we'll get into that in a minute. I'll never going to take a guy and say, okay, I've tried everything. Now let me go try the dark side, just to experiment or just to have, just experience the other half of the game. You won't see that from me. I mean, that's just not fun for me.
Yeah, same here.
And when I go to, like, I played this game called City of Heroes. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but
I have, yeah.
The game came out as you had to play a superhero, and you were in Paragon City, and you like beat up on supervillains. Okay, then a few years into their game, they came out with this thing called City of Villains, where you could actually make a villain and play it in the villain city, and you do all these dastardly do's, and then when you get up to a high enough level, then you can actually, the heroes and the villains can be together. But I tried it. I said, oh, City of Heroes, since I've done pretty much everything you can do in City of Heroes, I said, let me make a villain. After about 2 or 3 nights of playing the villain, I said, man, that's boring. I don't like it. It's just not my play style. Let me get back to being a hero. Even though I've played every mission, it's still more fun. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen to me. I'm going to always try to go through the Navy career and get that background reward or whatever, Okay, next topic. There's no real. Okay, there's death, right? You have death points. I have my notes here. Is death points. You have so many lives that your character gets, and it's a hidden number, so you'll never know exactly what that number is. It could range from 6 to 26 or whatever. And he said that almost everyone will start with at least half a dozen lives. Okay. When you die out in space, your character's not permadeath eliminated at that time. It just ticks off one of your lives. But that life, you'll never know how many you have. So you'll never know when that's your last life. So you're always going to try to stay alive. But the flip side of that is, who cares? Because you don't lose any levels. You don't lose any skills. All your equipment you still have because it goes to your beneficiary. And your beneficiary, he has to make a new name and a new look. Well, guess what? When you make that new look, you can make it look like exactly like you used to look. So it's basically you're making a new you. And the name, you can make variations of names, or you might call yourself Mr. Everything and then Mr. Everything 1 and Mr. Everything 2. But unless it's taken, and I don't think they care about that. I think you can duplicate names as long as your global name, is set to the side. You know how some MMOs have your global name, and then you have your characters' names, and you can have the characters can be any name you want, but the global name is really what assigns it to your account. So really, there's no consequence to losing a life other than having to change your name. What do you think about that? Or do you agree with that? You might not agree with that. So.
Parasite, go ahead. Is he back?
His avatar's moving around.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There he is.
I'm here.
There he is. There he is.
I'm here. I'm here. Right here.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah. As far as coming back?
Yeah, the loss of life not being a real penalty. Because you can lose. Let's say you have 6 lives, and you lose 1 life. You come back. You respawn at the last base you were at. You lose another life because you were just gung ho and charged into a ship and got shot in the head. And then you lose another life for your ship exploding. You lose another life and life. And then eventually it says you've lost all your lives. Right. And then you go to your funeral, and you create a new beneficiary, and he gets all your gear and all your stuff. So
I think,
yeah. So you really didn't lose anything. It was just an inconvenience.
Yeah, I think I'd be sad at my funeral. But.
Right. I think the advantage of that is he doesn't want to make the game so hard on you that if you lose all your lives, you're going to be pissed off.
Right.
He doesn't want you to say, well, screw this game. He wants you to say, dang, I just lost my first character. Oh, well, I got to start a second one. He's got everything I've saved up. But And to me, I don't think that's good enough. I think we should lose stuff. I think we should lose all of our gear or lose all of our money or something, or at least half of it or something like that.
See, I don't. Well, in a way we do, because when your beneficiary gets the stuff, you don't get everything back, because there's death tax basically that you have to pay. There's things you have, if the other character had other bills and stuff like that, the assets have to go towards paying that off, or your next character or whatever, your family member.
That's still you.
Yeah, that's still technically you. Yes.
Right. So this is just forcing you to pay your bills.
Yeah, pretty much. But I actually like the idea of losing your characters, but I think that we don't need to necessarily get like fined or lose the money per se, or lose your assets. I like the idea of being like, hey, I have I have no debt. I have all this money in my will. I wrote so and so gets this. We were right over. Sweet. And I don't think it's necessarily that you don't need a penalty, because I think they will, because I think over time, if you have one character and you've trained them, and you've got all these great things going on, and then all of a sudden he dies, the next character isn't going to get everything. So I guess there is a penalty to it, but I don't think it's bad enough that it's like, oh darn, I'm afraid to lose. I'm afraid to go out and do any missions because they're going to lose them. But it's not. But it's not good enough that it's like, well, I don't care.
Right, right. I think there has to be some kind of penalty for death, and it seems to be too light, in my opinion.
I think it's actually. It is so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to see when it comes out, because I think that being able to give everything I own to my beneficiary basically means I have an unlimited number of lives. It's just that they all have different names. So that goes back to like Eve that has clones. So if you die, your clone takes over. But in like Eve, your clone has all your skills and all that stuff too, where in this game there is no skills to lose because there isn't any skills in the first place.
Yeah.
Now there is a penalty for dying, but not losing all your lives. That's, I guess, permadeath is what I'm talking about. But regular death, there is a loss, because first of all, you just lost your ship. So most likely that's the cause of the death. Like you lose your ship, so you're going to have to either have insurance to replace that ship, and then if you do, it's going to come back stock. It's not going to have any of your upgrades or any of the cargo that you just lost. So yeah, there's some financial loss that way, but that's per death. The permadeath situation didn't hurt you. The individual deaths did. And I think the permadeath needs to be more severe than an individual death. Those deaths you keep coming back from, I think shouldn't be as harsh as your final life. Because otherwise, I'm having internet issues. It keeps fluctuating in and out.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Must be those storms.
There's no storms. There's storms, but they're not. It's not raining or. Okay, so it's broadcasting. I don't know what's going to happen to the YouTube video. I guess we're going to have to find out if it skips or just whatever. But yeah, we're having internet issues, so hopefully that won't affect the show too bad. But okay, moving on from that. NPCs die also. So you got NPCs. They say that there will be unique NPCs, and when they die, they're gone from the universe.
Right.
To me, that's very, very cool, because let's say this one NPC gives me a mission. I go off and risk life and limb, have my ship's all blown up, and when I come back, he's dead and he can't pay. That's kind of just a storyline, like, okay, now I'm going to be pissed off at whoever killed him. I'm going to say, I want you to fix my ship. But, it's a game. You're not going to get that to happen. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about NPCs dying? Let me add to that before you answer. He said he doesn't want to have 10 versions of the same NPC. So like having an NPC that you can talk to and then another person talk to the very same NPC in a different instance. And I'm talking about the unique ones, the real, I don't know, named characters, if you want to call it that. You can't just go in and another group of 20 guys come in and they get put into a different instance. Mm-hmm. They want those NPCs to be so important that they'll only ever be in one instance. So what do you think about that?
I like it. I think that just adds to the realism of oh crap, this guy died, and you're probably not going to ever see him again, or at least not in that instance, like you said. So I mean, you won't care as much because it's an NPC unless unless it's like a character that's been with you for a while, and I guess you can't really train them, but he's helped you through a lot of missions or something like that. And it's important to you in some way into the game, and then he dies, and it's like crap. That means now I have to go out and buy a new cabin boy to sweep the floors or whatever. And,
right.
Like that would that would suck in an investment idea.
Are you saying hiring an NPC that's like super high level?
No, not necessarily super high level, but I mean, I guess you can. Like that's the thing is, I think with NPCs, I know there won't be like levels or anything. There's going to be just like people where some are going to be better than others. But I guess that's the thing is it's like, oh, I finally got enough money to go up to buy this high-ranking officer guy who's really good at managing engineering NPC versus the cheap one. So I think that in that way is what I'm kind of getting at. I was like, crap, I finally lost this guy. He died in the ship fire or whatever, and now I have to go out and I don't have the money to buy another guy of his rank. So now I have to go back and buy a private. So I think in that way,
right.
Like that would suck. But I think as like a in-game actually caring for your characters, kind of like how like Mass Effect is like you actually, at least for me, I really cared about my characters. I doubt that. Like, so if they die, it'll be kind of like, oh, shoot, I'm out 500 credits. Well, I better go buy another one.
Right, but yeah, I'm not talking about the characters that you will interact with on a daily basis. Not like guys you can have on your crew or that you go to the shop and you talk to him. Because you kill the guy at the shop, another NPC is going to walk over and take over the shop. Mm-hmm. You kill your crew member, you're going to go out and buy another crew member. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Dread Pirate Roberts. He's out there, he's blowing stuff up, and Mr. Everything had a chance to kill him. Now no one else can kill him.
It just adds to the uniqueness of the game and to the lore. And if come like a year or two down the road and someone's talking about it, be like, I remember that battle. And so like when everyone fights him.
Right.
At one point everyone will fight him, so it's not really a unique thing.
Right.
I mean, it's like cool, you beat him, great, but you're not going to be going around the forums. I just beat the Lich King, woohoo! And everyone's gonna be like, congratulations.
So did we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you go on and be like, I was the one that killed it, everyone's gonna be like, you actually killed Roberts? How'd you do it? Let's see the video. Do you have video of it? And it'll be all over forums, but also inside the game lore too, and be all over the news inside the game. Pirate Roberts was killed yesterday in a fierce battle over Terra, and it's like that would be amazing to hear, and I mean even to be there. So I think just something like that is going to be a very unique and exciting thing to do.
Right. Now, one thing also I was going to say about the NPCs, that means they're going to have a glossary, not a glossary, but they're going to have an encyclopedia worth of different NPCs to replenish the villains and the heroes in the universe as they get defeated or as certain missions end. They're going to have to constantly replenish the NPCs. So they're going to start running out of ideas and things, and that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid they're going to recycle them with different names. Unless they've got a lot of ideas, which they might have a lot of ideas.
Well, I don't think it'll be that hard for like a random generator to just make a random person's name and then.
But motivations and why are they there and what makes them unique.
I think for that, it's just up to the the creator. And I mean creator, but the guy who actually creates the lore. I think that'll be up to him to kind of make it. But I guess with that, there's going to be several different pirates. The pirate or the Chris Roberts pirate or whatever. He may be the top guy, but there's always going to be others like he's going to be the hardest to kill. If someone takes him down, it'll be amazing. It'll be like all over the news. It'll be your name will be Star Citizen legend. But if you take down his brother, who is also a pirate, but he's just not as well known. It'll still be cool. It'll still be like, oh my gosh, you actually killed him, congratulations. But it won't be. But I'm sure there'll be like more of them out there that aren't as unique. They don't have as a big backstory because they don't need it because there's just so many more of them. I think people will be taking them, but still, when you attack them and kill them, it would be amazing. But like when you go and attack Roberts, it won't be something like you and 3 of your friends came up across Roberts and just like, yay, we killed him. It'll be like you and 20 other ships and an entire engagement for going up against this, and you lost another 15 ships along with that. You had to call in from reinforcements from outside on the planet to have help come in, and you had to take down his shields while someone was trying to jam his radar system. And I think it'll be a lot harder and a lot more difficult than the normal boss. It'll be like his ship won't be that good, so you can just go in and bomb the crap out of it and be like, all right, cool, good job, but it won't be taking down Roberts. And I think that's how they'll probably do it. They'll have more of those simple, easier ones scattered around, and then they'll have a couple really big ones with the huge backgrounds as the super bosses that are going to be really, really hard to kill.
Right. Taking out the little bosses, though, they're going to be a dime a dozen, right? But if they're named bosses, I'm talking about the named bosses. They're going to run out of them over 10 years, 20 years, whatever, however long we play this game. They're going to have to, I don't care about the name, I'm talking about why are they there, what are they doing. They're going to run out of ideas. Unless you're talking about this guy smuggles, cornflakes, so he's like this big bad boss. You kill him, the next guy smuggles Fruit Loops. It's how are they going to overlap? Okay, stop, that's it. Moving on.
Okay, fine. Gosh.
Okay, there's too many questions and not enough time in the universe. Okay. Okay, there's some questions that were taken, and they're in the bottom of the Death of a Spaceman, and we're going to talk about each of those questions so we can get this show wrapped up. But before we do that, in the latest 10 for the Chairman, he was asked about facial reconstruction. And can you change your appearance? If you are a villain, a pirate, and you want to change your looks and maybe get a false identity to go into the UEE and actually be able to land or whatever, are you going to be able to do that? And his explanation was that it's the same as your character generation situation. When you go into you're going to, in the beginning of the Squadron 42, you're going to go into a battle, you're going to fight this battle, you're going to be mutilated, and when you come back to the medical facility, you're going to have facial reconstruction, which is going to allow you as a player to make your appearance, so you can figure out what you want to look like. So you basically have a choice to make yourself look any way you want. So that technology is there so that, yes, characters can get their faces fixed and stuff like that. But that's not what it was in Death of the Spaceman. In Death of the Spaceman, he said, if you're going to be in somewhere, you're going to have 2 bathrooms in front of you. You're going to look at a female bathroom and a male bathroom, and you're going to decide to go into one of those bathrooms or the other. If you go into the female bathroom, then your character is going to be female. And then when you walk up to the mirror, it's going to be foggy, and the fog can eventually disappear, and when it does, you're going to be able to create your face there, and that's what you're going to look like. So I think that was a change. So I just wanted to put that out there, because 10 for the Chairman, he said it was facial reconstruction, and in Death of a Spaceman it says you're picking your character by going into a mirror, into a bathroom. So that might have been, but remember, this was written a long time ago, and his idea or concept changed, and it allowed it to go a little bit more into the fiction so that you could explain how people are getting their faces reconstructed. you know, at the tailor or whatever. Okay, so let's go on to what qualifies as a death. And basically it says not ejecting before a ship blows up, or taking a headshot during a boarding action or ground action, I'm sure, or having an ejected pilot or his escape pod targeted and destroyed while floating in space. So it's kind of hard to die if you eject, unless someone deliberately comes out there and tries to kill you. You know, so what do you think about that? What qualifies as a death? Because a headshot being death, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, in real life, you could be shot in the head and you could live.
That's right. That's right. And I'm thinking I'm probably got more armor on my head than I do on my body. You know, with my well, depending on if I'm wearing space battle armor, you know. But yeah,
I think with something like this, this is probably some of the problems when it comes to what parts do you want to leave as a video game and what parts do you want to make as a simulator.
Right.
Because, you know, with a simulator, it needs to try and obviously simulate as realistic to the real world as possible. But you also have to make it, you know, fun. You know, in most shooters, you know, Battlefield, you know, if I'm a sniper and I pop someone in the head, they're going to die. I'd be pissed if I shot a guy and it didn't kill him. And it's like, oh, well, you hit his, you know, frontal lobe and it missed the vital parts of his brain, so he didn't die. I'd be like, so he still runs? He still what do you have 3% life left? Like what is this? You know, and I'd be pissed. So I don't think
realistically, if it's not a high-powered rifle, okay, we're losing connection. Looks like. Okay, realistically though, you got to go back and you got to. Now I understand it's simulator versus game. In all the games that I play, headshots do like bonus damage or insta kills and stuff like that. But is that what I'm playing? Am I playing a game? You know, I know it is a game and everything, but I'm trying to be immersive. You know, trying to get away from typical game. This isn't Halo. This isn't Quake. You know, this is a simulator. But I understand it's not, but...
Well, okay, and see, this is the one thing that I think that really bothers me a lot about, like, 10 for the Chairman. That's why I don't watch it very often.
Yeah.
People are asking questions that are way too in-depth. They are going
This isn't 10 for the Chairman.
Well, well, I know, but I'm using it as an example. Like, people ask questions that are like...
Oh yeah.
You know, you know what I'm
like. What color toilet paper is going to be available?
Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
they're not. It's like they're not going to go out of their way to code something like that. It is not realistic. Like some of the questions they think. It's like they're not going to waste 2 weeks creating something like this.
Right.
It's just too complicated for a video game.
Okay.
And that's kind of my thing. It's like it would be cool in the way it's like, okay, it's realistic. You know, he got shot in the arm, but he can still use his quite in the bicep. Would have to be some serious like coding for just the body itself, and you know that right there would take a lot of time and effort, and it's just not worth it.
I wish they wouldn't separate the head from the body, is what I'm saying, because you can kill someone hitting them center of mass easier than you can if you shoot them in the head. So it's just, now I understand losing an eye and losing an ear and losing, you know, knowing where you hit the guy. Did you hit him in the arm? Okay, maybe he loses the use of his hand. Or did you hit him in the leg? Okay, maybe he has to have a bionic leg or something like that's cool. And I understand that's not like in the immediate horizon. I know that's stuff they're thinking of in the future. But I'm just saying, if you hit the guy, you hit the guy. If he's got different armor on his body than he does on his chest, on his head, then just treat it like that. Don't say it's an insta kill or whatever on the head.
Yeah, like I'll agree. Like there are times in like Battlefield where I have hit people in the head and they have like 2 or 1% health, and it's depending on like how you hit them and how far a distance the bullet was and stuff like that. It's like that's understandable, but you know, like you said before, if you have like a high-powered rifle and you're 50 feet away from the guy and you're headshot, he better die, no matter like what.
Right.
Like, that dude's head had better be all over the inside of that ship.
Right.
After something like that.
Okay.
But,
we're not talking about mechanics now.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about death. Okay.
Yes,
So let's go back. We're going to do the next question because I'm just trying to push this along. and it said one of the questions is how many lives will we get, and we understand there's going to be multiple deaths, at least 6 or half a dozen, if not more, and then
Right.
he says it's going to be hard getting to that point. So it's going to be uncommon for you to go through 6 lives unless you're just participating in a lot of boarding actions or flying in areas where there's no law. So you have to be putting yourself in harm's way a lot to die. What he's saying is just your average every day inside the UEE, flying around, delivering cargo and stuff. You're not going to run into situations where you're probably going to die. You might get blown up, and you're probably going to have a chance to eject. The pirates are not going to shoot your body that's floating in space because there's too many heavy penalties against that. So what he's saying is it's going to be really hard for you to go through 6 lives. But he's also said that there's ways to replenish your lives. So I'm thinking that you can go to a doctor and you could say, I'm feeling a little sick, and you give me some drugs or whatever, and then he replenishes a life. That's kind of that's kind of cool.
That sounds like some good drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the ones I take. Okay. Because I die a little bit every day. Okay. Okay. So what do you guys think about that? Being able to replenish your life and having that. I don't know how many deaths I have, but I'll probably never get to all my deaths in the course of a game. Ever.
I hate the idea of replenishing. Like, okay, if you have like 50% health, you got a couple cuts, couple bruises, bone broken.
You'll never know what your health is.
Okay, well,
there's no health bar.
So, I guess then I don't think then he shouldn't have the mechanic in it at all. If you don't know what your health is, then there's no point. Because I mean, it's like, what's the point of going to the doctor and be like? I mean, I guess I could be like, in a realistic.
You'll know that you've died once or twice before.
Well, I guess I understand that, but it would just be weird to just like walk into the doctor's office and be like, "Hey, do you see anything wrong with me?" And you're like bleeding out of your forehead. That's kind of how I see it. So it's kind of like,
no, it's not. That's not the concept of lives. The concept of lives is you die. Yeah. They recreate you from the ashes. You're another shepherd. They've recreated you, but they can only recreate you so many times before they stop having the ability to recreate you.
Then in that case, I'm fine with it. I thought you were getting at more of like you.
But they can extend that. So if you get close to the maximum number of times, they can say, "Hey, we'll give you a couple more times."
I think with what you're about to say, I think would be cool is if like, they're like, they could give you a letter or whatever saying that you're coming up. There isn't much that we can do. Your body can't take it much more. There is a special procedure that we can do that can help. Something like that. I can totally understand. Giving you prosthetic hearts. That'll help you survive a little longer. So the next time it happens, you can survive one more time.
Well, when you die, you've died.
Well, yeah.
So when I get 5 deaths, you're right. I'm gonna know that my next one could be my last. So I'm gonna go to that doctor and see if I can get 2 more lives.
Yeah, and see, I'm fine with that, but I wouldn't want it to be like you have 2 more lives. I would want it to be like, you went and you got some sort of, like I said, prosthetic heart. So you know that you could live 1 more, but you could still die right after. There's still that chance, but you have a better chance now.
Right.
That's how I'd like it.
Okay. He addresses that in a little bit. So, like, what happens on a disconnect or rage quit? So let's say you and I are fighting. My Hornet's getting totally torn up. I lose my engine basically, and you're about to win, and I just power my computer off. Basically, I just say screw that. Boom. It says do you lose a life? Well, the answer is yes, because the AI was going to try to take over your ship, and it's going to try to fly you to the base. And the guy that's fighting you can still fight you, but that AI is not fighting back. He's just trying to drive it to the base. And if he does that and you get blown up, guess what? You're dead. But now he says that they're going to try not to do that. Like if the AI decides to eject you, you're going to be able to go back to base or whatever. Or if you eject before you rage quit, you're going to be able to go back to base. But they're just going to have to monitor that to make sure that people aren't gaming the system, to try to avoid losing a life, So, yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that in a way that you're not cheating the system by saying, I'm going to go and fight the Dread Pirate Roberts, and when he gets close to killing me, I'll just get out of the game. I'll just eject, out of the game, that is, and then the computer just resets my life or whatever, just resets me back to my last base. And luckily that doesn't happen. The AI tries to get you out of hostile territory, and you can never trust the AI. So in my opinion, I like that. I don't want players to, come after me and then quit, and me killing them does nothing. I want it to actually kill them, or at least lose their ship or whatever, But then that penalizes people that disconnect because they have bad internet connection or something like that. But that's the price you pay. If you're going to be playing, you better make sure you got a good internet connection, because they don't want you to game it. They don't want to just say it's automatically okay if you lose connection. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the pros and cons? If you heard me.
Oh.
I heard you.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah,
But,
it's a tough subject, and that's what we address here on the From the Verse is nothing but the tough subjects. Okay. Make you think.
Personally, I mean, I like it. I do. I like it.
Yeah.
It's
It'll give you that motivation to fly away before you disconnect.
right.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right.
Hopefully, unless you're stubborn and pig-headed like me and just dive right into it,
Well, you'll die before you eject, though. I mean, you'll die before you just power the computer off. Rage quit.
But,
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, I really feel that if you have the ability to actually survive that, then again, I mean, and being given that chance, I mean, why not? Why the heck? What the heck? Why not?
Well, this is what's going to happen with me. I'm in my Retaliator. I'm flying. I've got Parasite back in the engine room, and I've got like Cats. He's manning a turret because he's like this crack shot or whatever. And I get so frustrated, I just power myself. I just quit. And then all of a sudden, an NPC just appears where I left. And now you got this crap pilot trying to fly the ship back to the base.
Man, that would suck so bad.
All you'd have to do is just run down there, kick me out of the station, and take over.
Yeah.
And in that case, guess what? You're in my ship, and you can do whatever you want with it. And so that's cool though. And then he'll run over and take over the guns, and and I really
and
like
Cats
that.
will save the day.
And
yeah.
Cats will save the day. That's fine.
Thank you.
That's right. Yeah, he'll fly us back to base.
Another medal on the
That's
jacket.
right. I'll just have to. But hopefully, that'll motivate me not to rage quit. You see what I'm saying? It'll motivate those people that are getting a little frustrated to stick it out, or to really yell in the team speak.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, this and that. Man, you can't fly straight. I'm not gonna quit because my ship will get destroyed. I like it, is what I'm saying. It makes you play a little bit more sensible. You're not gonna put yourselves in situations that you can't handle. Hopefully, sometimes it'll happen, but you're not just gonna be like in the comments above. He was talking about in Mass Effect. All you have to do is just run into a room, guns blazing, and if you die, so what? You just run into the room again, guns blazing, and who cares? You can die 100 times, and you can still do it. And that's not the way it's going to be in Star Citizen, and I'm totally cool with that. Okay, moving on. What are the penalties for targeting an ejected pilot? Okay, he's talking about players who target ejected pilots basically are automatically going to get a death bounty on their head. Basically, they want you, the UEE will want you killed. you know, and they'll pay people to kill you. And you'll also become a PvP target. So, because even though there's a PvP area outside the UEE or in the fringes of space or whatever, and then in the safe zones you can't PvP unless you got that PvP bounty on your head. And if you do, you just go after them and kill them. There's going to be people that are just dicks, and they're going to be killing people when they eject because they can, or because, you know, they're being dicks, and they're going to get flagged with this guy's got a wanted, and if you're a player, you have permission to shoot him on sight in any location, you know. And I think that'll be cool, because I don't want that means ejecting is safe, but not 100%. There are going to still be people that will want to kill you or something like that. And I kind of like that. I like it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do too. That means that you and I can put all kinds of bounties on people's heads.
Well, we won't be able to. No, I don't think so.
We can't do that?
I don't think so. That's not. It's a UEE death bounty. It's an official bounty. It's not a bounty from another player. Another player can't say, "Cats, I want you to kill Paraset," and then when Cats kills you, he's a criminal. You know, because I didn't have permission to give him that bounty or whatever. You know, so
well, I thought they did say you were going to be able to do that.
No, you can put bounty. Yeah, I can put a bounty on him, but that doesn't mean it's official.
Oh, okay.
You know, I can say, Paraset, kill Cats, and Paraset goes, "Yes, sir, all the way," and then he goes and blows you away.
Yeah.
But you were a loyal UEE citizen. Paraset's a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless you go to some advocacy guy and he says, you know, we got this official bounty on the bulletin boards from the UEE, you know, and then in that case you go after him. But we're getting off topic. The topic is killing people after they eject and then getting bounties put on them. I think it's cool that there's going to be some PvP inside safe areas, but only with criminals. You know what I'm saying? With people. I'm kind of a PvP fan, but I just don't want to be killed.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how long do I float in space before being rescued? I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. But when you eject in an active battle instance, you just sit there and watch the action. When there's no hostiles in the area, or the battle fades off in the distance, a little time later, cinematic maybe of your pilot pod being tracked or rescued, then you'll show up in the last save spot, right, which is probably a base or something, replenishment ship.
Right.
We talked about that earlier. I think that's good. There's not going to be any like, I eject, so now do I get to respawn in the middle of battle? Okay. So, but we've already talked on that, so we'll go on. What happens with a headshot in boarding? We talked about this earlier, but this is what I said. We'll get to it in a minute. He said a headshot is more likely to cause fatal than any other injury. Boarding ships is extremely risky. You gain valuable prizes by capturing the ship and things like that. It is possible that you'll only lose an eye or a jaw. Okay, not die. Well, I mean, when you die, you'll come back with a prosthetic eye or maybe a robotic jaw or something. You'll be Jaws from 007. But there's also a small chance that you'll take a laser to the brain and be dead forever. So he's saying that it's a permadeath. So you will have a small chance to permadeath somebody with one headshot to the head. You know, to me that's kind of cool, but it's also kind of, you know, I don't know. But it says taking a headshot while defending a ship is less fatal because you have access to their medical facilities.
Right, right.
That's, I guess, a bigger ship, not the smaller ships. If I'm defending my Constellation, it's not going to have any medical facilities, except for maybe a first aid kit on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, if I brought a medic with me, it would be just as good if I was attacking. So I don't know. I think he's trying to benefit the guys that are defending and not being the hostile aggressors.
Right.
You know, and that's just a mechanic to help the defenders.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the headshot causing a possible permadeath?
Well,
go ahead, Perset.
No, I'm just wondering what kind of math. It's funny. I'm actually thinking about the math involved in that, because what's going to determine that, and that's got to be some kind of equation in there.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably a random die roll.
Yeah.
Behind the scene, I know it's not real dice; it's computer dice. But maybe it's a 1%, maybe it's a 1/1000% or something. It's just as long as it's a number that they wanted to make it.
Yeah. Well, cats, it'd be just my luck that I'd get that every single time.
I don't think you'd get it every single time, but I think it would happen every once in a while. But I don't think it'd be. 'Cause I don't honestly. I don't see myself, at least for us, getting into too many engagements.
I don't think Parasite will ever get shot. No, the reason why I say that is you tell people to go get shot.
Yeah.
Remember, you guys are the two ranking officers. The rest of us have to go and die.
Yeah, they're going to have to board our ship and make it to the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of us to the grunt.
That's right. Hey,
Yeah.
go defend that hallway while we go over here and, drink our coffee.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Okay. Go ahead.
But yeah, with the equation thing though, I think it's going to be kind of the same thing though with first person shooters. It might be a little bit more in depth, being that you can actually survive it, and it'll depend on if you got shot in the eye, do you get a prosthetic eye now, or something like that. I think the thing that's gonna, I guess they won't have a permadeath thing. It'll probably be like, you were knocked out by so and so. So instead of dying, you got a bullet wound now instead of whatever, but you can't play because you're unconscious because you just got shot in the eye, but you're not dead. But then the rest of your team survives the boarding action. Then they're able to take you, put you on the medical bay, and heal you up. So that's.
So you're saying like a permanent incapacitation.
Yeah, kind of a thing. Yeah.
For the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think they'll most likely do, because you won't be dead. You'll just be. I mean, I certainly, if I got shot in the eye, I'm pretty sure I'd be out of action. So, I don't. Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's probably what they would do for the game as well.
All right. Next question. Now we believe. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a big topic between the officers of our unit and some other units, and how we're going to react and deal with this. So this is an important topic for us personally, but I'm just going to share this with the rest of the world. How are they going to? This is RSI going to counteract griefing, and because when you grief, you're really causing pain on other players for your enjoyment. And one way to do that is to give them permadeath. So you're just constantly killing them. They respawn back at their base. They fly out again. You constantly kill them, especially the new players and things like that. Well, this is what he said. He said they believe the system will actually de-incentivize the griefers, basically giving them like no motivation to do it. Because if you want to go out in a safe area and kill new players, you'll quickly have a bounty on your head, and legal PvP will be authorized on you. So, but some people like that. I'm going to kill the new players PvP because I've got 100 of my buddies with me. And okay, moving on. And if you target ejected pilots, lethal force on your ejected pilot is authorized too. Attempting to grief new players will probably hasten your character's death a lot quicker. That's what they're thinking, right? So, but they'll have to game balance it, of course.
I think if they're going to game balance it, I think what should happen is depending on how bad it gets, you die, then for how high your bounty is, or how many people you've killed, you have to pay so much of your assets and make it like a large bounty. So like, yeah, you may be killing a whole bunch of these noobs and you may think it funny, but the moment you die, you're going to lose everything. That nice ship that you had that you've been killing it.
Yeah, that's gone. Good. That's really good idea, actually.
That hangar, that nice brand new hangar that had everything in it, it's gone. You're stuck back here renting a hangar now. All your assets are either in the possession of the UEE now or up for auction or something. And I think that would be a good way of like, you know what? I'm good with keeping my stuff instead of losing it all.
Right. I actually think that's a good idea because if you're a criminal, then I guess you're going to have to pay out the wazoo to become brought back to life or whatever. So yeah. That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Crime doesn't pay.
That's a good thing. Yeah, if you're a griefer, if you do certain things against the life and death of your players, then then your life and death should be penalized. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, who knows? Maybe they're watching and hearing that. Okay, let's go on to the next one. How can he reduce the chance of dying? Well, ship upgrades. Better power plant cores. Basically, better equipment. Equipment is what's
Right.
going to stop you from dying. Personal power armor, automated systems, blah, blah, blah. But then it says there's also an upgrade system surrounding your battle damage. If your character loses an eye or an arm and you'd like a natural replacement rather than a cybernetic looking implant, you'll be able to pursue these in certain markets. That's kind of cool.
And that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's basically an organ transplant,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you're buying organs in the and it also says additionally there may be certain medical procedures like a limb or an organ that can increase your lifespan, especially like give your life back. That's pretty cool. We talked a little bit about that earlier, but that's exactly what you were talking about. Is if you get killed, you should probably get a prosthetic or something like that. And I think that is the case. Every time you get killed, you're going to get some kind of new wound or scar, so that he mentions that when you go into a bar and you see a bunch of guys sitting around a table, you can actually walk over to that table and look at them, and you can see if they're veterans or if they've never been in a fight, because they'll either have scars or they won't. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And this next question, I can't believe someone asked this. Can you opt out of the death system?
Oh, I know. See what I mean? Stupid questions like that.
No way to opt out of death.
What a stupid question.
I know.
But look at their answer.
That will include options for running your own server. Will allow you the option to set the game to infinite lives. So if you have your own server, you can do that.
But my question is, if that's the case,
Yeah,
it would only be on your server.
that's right. You
not
can't.
not in the Star Citizen universe.
Right, not in the mega server. You can't bring characters cross servers. You got to be your character's either there or there. And if you're in your own server, you can change the rules. You can give everybody a destroyer if you want or whatever. Apparently you can give them unlimited lives.
And that'd be cool for training. I can see that for training. We could blow each other up to our heart's content.
Well, we already have that in the simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
unless
I think that's what they're getting at. Is like in a simulator, you can have as many lives.
no, they're making it available that anybody can own their own server.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody, you can buy a server, or not even buy it. You can just download it, and you can run your own server on your own computer for you and your friends.
Okay.
If you want, which is kind of cool. If you don't make any changes, right? You download you download the server, you run it for you and your friends with no changes, and then you go out and experiment with markets and stuff. You explore, you find stuff, and then you jump in the persistent universe and you go straight there. But basically you're doing double the work. You're still doing it, But there's no risk if you turn off all the pirates or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Can I rescue or tractor an out? Well, I'm sorry. Will multi-person crews be able to escape the destruction of their ships? It says yes. All spacecraft are being designed to allow crew members to eject, or otherwise abandon ship. So maybe in your constellation, you're going to have to run back into the bed, get into the bed, and hit eject.
See, and I don't know why people ask these questions. Because it's like, no, only the captain. Everyone else is going down with the ship. The captain can get away though. It's like, what kind of stupid questions are these?
Well, it's just saying if you're in a multi-crew ship, you don't just hit eject and launch out the top of your fighter.
Well, okay. I guess if they'd asked something like that, it's like if there's multi-crewed ship, are there multiple escape? Then I could understand it. But just being like on a multi-crewed ship, can you escape on it? It's like, of course you can. You can just walk out the airlock if you really need to.
That's right, because you got a spacesuit on.
Yeah,
just
it's
jump.
like you have a spacesuit on. They make it sound like you're gonna, like I said, the captain can get out because
Well,
he's the owner, but everyone else is stuck inside.
Hold on my Retaliator, you're actually going to be handcuffed to your seat.
Oh, well.
Because I don't
will
want any
remember that.
mutinies. No mutinies on my ship.
You're going to man this turret, and you're going to like it.
That's right. At gunpoint, you're gonna have a guy gunning and a guy behind you with a pistol. So I'm gonna have double the size of the crew. No, I'm kidding. Okay, and then so the next one is, can I rescue or tractor in an ally? It says, yeah, if you got room. Duh. To me, that sounds like, of course you can.
Yeah.
And if you survive the battle, then he's good too, you know. Okay. And it says space rescue and recovery is standard on all ship insurance policies. Okay, what happens? I am captured rather than rescued. If your escape pod is captured by another player or NPC, your game will continue, but there will be penalties depending on your situation. Like if you're a criminal, then you're delivered to prison, and if and you just pay off the authorities to escape. Or you're sold into slavery, then you need to buy your freedom. So basically, if you're captured, it's a higher financial cost. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hurt somebody's pocket, then you capture them. You know, because then they got to pay to get away.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool because that gives you motivation to do it, and it also takes that motivation away from killing them. You know, because like now it's better not to kill them, but just to capture them. You know. That would also hurt, and that might also avoid the PvP bounties on your head and hurt the new players more. So I think that would increase griefing by capturing shot-down pilots if they eject. They'll be slaves. Okay. Okay. Are you concerned that fear of permadeath will scare players away from combat? Their answer is no. And I would agree with that because to me, it's, as very first topic, I don't think permadeath is very scary. I think it's just kind of an aesthetic thing. It's just behind the things. And I think that's pretty much what he says. We're building a combat game and are going to do everything possible to encourage players to dogfight and otherwise battle each other. In most dogfights, even if your ship is destroyed, you won't lose a life because you'll eject. Waking up in a med bay with a new limb. And a rare occurrence, otherwise, you might... skipping that. Okay, the fear of permadeath will cause some anxiety, which will add to the overall experience, but it will be more than countered by the potential rewards in the world.
Yeah. I think with that, the only thing is like, you know, as me as a merchant, yeah, I think I will be scared because, you know, versus you as a fighter, you know, you have a better offensive and defensive capability, as I won't. I won't be able to move very fast. I won't have as big of armament, maybe not as big as shields or something like that. You know, so, you know, and I'll be hauling all this thousands of credits worth of, you know, whatever. You know, for me, it'll be like, oh, okay, if I can get away from if I can get through this place without getting into a fight, great. I just think that's, for me, as a merchant, yeah, I think I will be terrified to get into a fight, because if I get into a fight, it's either I'm most likely, hopefully, going to win, or I'm going down with my, you know, ship or something like that, you know. So I think for that, yeah, it'll be terrifying. But for a fighter, pilot, no, not so bad.
I don't think it'll be terrifying for you.
Don't think so?
No, I think you might have some anxiety and you might be stressed about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'll be. I think you will still take on risky missions, knowing that you got some fighters covering you.
Yeah, that,
you know,
yeah.
and that kind of stuff. Yeah, but you'll also require it. You'll ask for it because you'll have that in the back of your mind. You'll be like, "There's a chance I'll get killed, so I better have some fighter cover."
Yeah.
But you know what I'd want would be like if we're together in a battle group, that, I mean, and this is what I wish they'd have, which is, let's say, I mean, what if we lose Cats, as far as, you know, he has to eject. I'd want that option. I would want that option to be able to tractor him in at that time,
right?
And take him on in the crew, rather than, you know, waiting for the AI to take over. I'd want the option of actually getting him in there, and, you know, so that he's safe and all he has to worry about is his ship.
And you can do that. And I think, and you, even when you eject, your character can move around. You have like little jetpacks on your backpack, so you can actually fly around until you hit X. You know, like in Arena Commander, your character can actually fly all over the whole map. So all you have to do is stop near him and let him fly over to you and come in through the airlock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and that would be
'Cause
awesome.
that's what I'd
Even
want.
if you don't have a tractor, is what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
he's still recoverable if he can do it himself. Now, if he's
Yeah.
knocked out or something, then that's
Yeah.
That
Well, then I
becomes
can tractor him in.
or you can get a guy to go out there and get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, grab him and bring him back into the ship.
Yeah.
That's rescue mission.
I want that ability.
Yeah, so that means you got to have ships that can carry people.
Yeah.
The Retaliator can definitely. I'll just open my bomb bay door and just scoop him up. Just fly over him and just kind of go down on, and then just close the hatch and hopefully I don't crush him. Okay. But okay, moving on to the next one. Permadeath. I've already created, it's basically saying, I've already created a backstory for my character. I don't want them to die. Well, we're letting you know that you're going to die. Okay, moving on. It says,
Yeah, it's like that's
yeah.
part of the lore. That's part of the excitement of the game.
Yeah, and you can make characters that don't ever get into any fights, but why are you even really playing this game? This is really about dogfighting. I mean, to me, it's more than dogfighting. To me, I love the dogfights, but I think I'm going to have a lot of fun on the ground. I think I think that's where my main focus might be is boarding actions and planetary combat, if it's available for me. If not, whatever. Okay. And then, okay, now, will I need to play Squadron 42 a second time if I get a new character? No. Everything's from... This is another reason why there's no real permadeath. It says, no, everything you earned from Squadron 42 the first time will pass on. So your citizenship, your credits earned, your startership, and the like. If your beneficiary was a citizen, his or her status will pass on down to you as well, with a probation period that you have to perform some actions or missions to keep the citizenship in good standing. But if you want to, you can play through it a second time. Really, I mean, it's like all my characters are automatically citizens if my first one makes it through Squadron 42. What do you think? You think that's harsh enough? Do you think that should be allowed? Okay, first of all, let me put this disclaimer out. We have no say on what's actually going to happen in the game, but we like to pretend like we do. So what do you think? Do you think it's harsh enough?
That they would have to every time with a new character?
No. If they want citizenship, or if they want to get the Squadron 42 benefits.
Yes. 100 missions, and I have a feeling each mission is probably going to take at least 20 minutes or so to do. Yeah, I think it would be... I would hate it. I would hate that every time I'd have to do that. I would quickly stop playing the game in a heartbeat because I'd have to do that every time. So yeah, if they made it so that you would,
I'm not saying that. I understand you're saying if you play Squadron 42 100 times, it's going to piss you off. But what I'm saying is, should my second character after I die get all the benefits for Squadron 42 if I don't play it?
If your first character didn't play it?
No, if my first character plays it, he dies, and then my second character comes in, I opt not to play it because you don't have to. Should I get all the benefits for 42 just because the player has already gone through it? Should all of the player's characters, no matter what, down the line, get the benefits for 42?
I guess with that's more up to you, really. That if they have that option, that's just your own personal thing. I don't see why you would want that.
No.
But
It's the answer that was given was every character you own will get the benefits of Squadron 42.
Okay.
And I'm saying that's too generous in my opinion. I think you should be allowed to decide if you want to go through 42 a second time or not. And if you do, you have to earn those benefits again. If you don't, then okay, no problem. You move on. You get the hand-me-downs from your predecessor, but you don't get the notoriety of having finished Squadron 42
as that character.
Right.
See, and I guess with that, kind of goes back to my thing is like, what if I don't want to have to play it over and over again just to have my character be a little bit more known throughout the universe. That's just in the game sense that's just too much. I have a hard time replaying a game as it is once I beat it once. A campaign.
Pussy.
I don't. Okay, try playing a game with 100 missions over and over. Okay, it's like I'm gonna get tired of it quick, especially if I go out and die my first time.
Especially since you're a merchant.
Yeah, especially if I'm a merchant.
And you don't want to be a dogfighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think Squadron 42 is going to be more than just dogfighting, though.
Yeah, it will be. But like that would just suck every time, especially if you just barely start the game and you are just that poor, unlucky person, and your first death is your death, and then you got to play Squadron 42 again. I would be pissed. I'd be like, really? I have to do this all over again so that my character has that little bit extra bonus now? I'd be like, no, forget it. I'm not touching it again.
So then you just don't go through it.
Yeah. But what sucks is for them to say, well, if you play it again, you get this extra special bonus. I'd be like, you want me to replay 100 missions over again just to get these extra special bonuses?
Well,
it's like,
you're already going to be doing that. I guarantee it. You're a backer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to give you the first 10 missions.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give you the second 10 missions. They're going to give you all 100 missions. And then the game will start. And then you'll have to play it all the way through again.
Okay, well that'll be for one time though. That won't be so bad. But I mean, it would just suck that if you
because then you'll already know all the missions. I would be able to breeze through them if I knew exactly where I had to go and who I had to kill to get whatever. I could just go and do them all. But then again, it might be harder than that.
Yeah. And see that's what I worry about is if each mission is 20 missions and there's 100 missions, is like that's a lot of time just in the campaign again, and so it's just like that just is not worth it just so I can get like 0.5% bonus to your notoriety. I'm like,
well, you do know that if you go to our website and you look at the training, the boot camp, the first thing you have to complete is Squadron 42.
Oh, see, I have no problem doing it. Like, doing it the first time?
Right,
yes, I think you should. Okay,
but I'm just saying those guys that don't and they decide they want to join, and we look and we say, where's your Squadron 42 papers or whatever?
Yeah.
And they say, they don't have them. Well, get to stepping and go do the Squadron 42.
Yeah, so that I can understand.
Yeah.
Because, it's like our boot camp. It's kind of like this is like a training to get you. If you can beat this, then, we know that you can at least fly and,
the basics. Yeah.
Yeah, the basics.
Right.
But like I said, if you die, though, and then they basically force you to have to play it every time you die, I have a feeling you're probably going to die more than once or twice in this game. So if I have to do this over the, 10 years, I die 10 times. It's like, how many times have you played, the
well, you get little oak leaf clusters.
How many hours you have wasted on campaign? 355 hours. Congratulations.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably going through Squadron 42 multiple times. Yeah. But I don't think someone who doesn't play Squadron 42, a character now, I'm not talking about players, a character shouldn't get the full benefits. You should get something like, my dad was in Squadron 42,
right?
So I might know a guy that'll help me. It shouldn't be, my dad went through Squadron 42, so I'm automatically in the Squadron 42 club. I don't think that's realistic in the sense of the game. Yeah, but I understand you can have contacts. You could be, you're the son of, Major Dickhead or whatever, and so he left you with his ribbons and he left you with his pass to the officers club and everything. But you shouldn't be considered having finished Squadron 42.
And I think for something like this is where it's either video game versus real life, and video game wins. Because it's like, unfortunately, as much as I agree with you, I mean, it's like, if you're both military people, and I think you both have kids. How in the world would that make sense that you both did your service, you guys pass away or whatever, and then your kids get your military service, and it's like, well, you're automatically a lieutenant. It's like, because your father was, but you have no skills whatsoever. But you're lieutenant.
Well, I don't think they're actually saying that you're going to get rank and everything, but I think they're saying your status is going to be passed down, whatever that means. We don't even know what it means. We're just kind of guessing right now, right? Really? So maybe it's like, okay, maybe it's something as simple as this, and this I could agree with. If you finish Squadron 42, there are certain stores in the universe that you can shop at that nobody else can shop at, because you have the ID that says that you finished Squadron 42, right? You get whacked. Boom. That ID will get passed down to your, or membership will get passed down to your son or whoever, that now he can go shop at those stores. Okay. Yeah, that I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
But he still didn't do 42.
I think I finally understand what you're getting at. It's like he you know, you can't say like, you know, he was the one that was in this war. He was the one that was in this battle. You can't say that this new character was. And in that I can totally understand. If that's what you're trying to get at, you know, that it's I guess you've been saying that his notoriety, his fame, you know, then I guess I can understand it that way. But I thought you were getting more at like a beneficial, like, you know, he went through Squadron 42, so now he has +5, you know, attack. I understand that's not how the game works, but I thought that's kind of what you were getting at. Like, yeah, I guess it's better.
Because there is no real stats or anything. It's all, to me, this game, and this is pretty much our last topic, but to me, this game is all about, 100% about your character's story.
Yeah.
The whole game, it's really about your character story. Yeah, there's mechanics of how to shoot someone down. There's different planes and spacecraft that you can get to dogfight, and there's missions you go on and stuff. But really what's happened in my little bubble is the reason why I'm playing is because I'm creating a story for a character. Mm-hmm. And when you tell me that when my character dies, my next character is automatically given this, I'm like, no.
Yeah, and
I don't think so.
I think with that, what they'll do is they'll most likely just have it to where, you know, you'll have no notoriety. You'll have your family's legacy, but then, you know, over the, you know, years that you play, that, you know, you're in the game, you know, your character will have his own experiences, his own, you know, things, his own battles, and then that'll become his thing, and that'll be, you know, tacked onto your family tree. Is, you know, he was in the battle of, you know, Terra in 2955 or whatever, you know, versus where your father, you know, but I think having to play Squadron 42 again, no, because the way I would see it is like Squadron 42 is, it's set back in 2944 whenever the game starts, and then that's when you play it and you finish it, and then it's like that time is already, you know, already passed. It'd be like replaying your father's exact life, you know, kind of a thing. I don't know. I just don't think it would make sense.
Right. I can see it that way too. Is you've already played it, and by playing it again, you're just superimposing yourself into that story, and it's not. Yeah. It should be a unique story.
Yeah.
Right, and that's going to be hard to do, though. You know, but they are going to have expansions where you go back and do more missions, and your second character might have to do that.
Yeah. So I think that'll be something that they'll have to figure out on their own and figure out how they're going to do it. So Parasite,
what do you think about that? Because you haven't said a word. You agree.
Yeah, Parasite. Jeez.
I've been listening to you guys. I've been listening to you guys in this one, but I'll tell you. I mean, I like what you're talking about, but as far as inheritance, mystery. I personally, I can see Kat's point is in regard to, you know, I mean, if you put all that effort into your character, and to lose it, and then have to start all over again, you might have some people that might be a little miffed. And
now I'm gonna pull out my I've read the forums card. Not 9 out of 10 players said they would avoid dying.
Well, okay.
Because and that is part of the motivation of the whole permadeath concept, is to get people to avoid dying, to make decisions to keep themselves alive, and not just going in balls to the wall, you know, guns blazing. So if you make it too easy to die, then nobody will care and they'll continue to die.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying it might be a penalty Force them to go through Squadron 42. I'm not agreeing one way or another, but I'm just saying if you go with Squadron 42, I'm being the devil's advocate here. If you make them play Squadron 42 a second time or a third time or a fourth time, they might actually get the hint and stop dying. You know what I'm saying? Or being stupid, where they just run out there and just blow themselves up just because they can. That's what I hope will happen, is there'll be enough penalties for players dying that they will stop being MMO players and being simulation players. Yeah, I know it's an MMO. You got to walk up to a guy and click him and say, "Can I please have my quest?" You know, but that's hopefully that's not. And my understanding is you don't actually click people. My understanding is, and I'm going off topic right before we end, but you just walk up to somebody, and depending on how you look at him or how your gesture is, will determine what he says to you. You know, and that's, to me, that's kind of exciting all by itself. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go ahead and close out the show tonight. This was episode 8. You can go back and check out all 7 of our other episodes. We talk a lot about ships on some of the episodes. We talk about other things like the economy and other things in some of the other episodes. The next episode, what do you think we should talk about? Yeah. We still have a ton of ships left, but I wanted to kind of take a break from ships. We'll get back to them, but I kind of want to take a break from ships and hit other important topics. What do you think one of those topics might be? I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything from peripherals to play styles to what is role playing, what's not role playing. It could be, you know.
I like that. I like role playing. I think that's a good one.
You like role playing?
Okay. Okay. So we'll talk about like character stories, backstories, the different styles of role playing, you know, and non-role playing, and how that impacts like PvP and PvE and things like that. That's what we'll talk about in the next show. I'll try to put some kind of like a summary of different topics that we can talk about, and you guys can fill in the blanks, you know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Did you guys have any other closing statements you want to say or anything?
I think the Stellar Sonic jukebox that I got in my hangar is really cool.
When did that come?
It was created on July 11th.
I didn't get my jukebox. Why did I not get my jukebox?
I don't know.
You have to be a subscriber, right?
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I've been looking at my hangar decoration every time I go in there. The freelancer hangar decoration. That's really cool. I don't know about the towel, but
you're talking about. Okay, you are talking about
the UEE towel.
You're talking about your ship, right? You got your little model of your ship. You got the UEE towel.
Yeah.
And then you got of course, your fish tank and your all that stuff.
Yep,
and
I got the fish tank.
The calendar, your clothes.
Fishes. Yep.
There's a
my posters are up there and stuff, and yeah.
Okay, so where is it located? I know on the opposite end of the hangar you have your little Foot Locker.
Yeah.
You guys have the same one?
Probably.
Yeah.
If it's a business hangar.
Yeah, I got the business hangar.
Okay.
And I seem to remember seeing my Stellar Sonic jukebox in the. I thought it was on the right-hand side. As soon as I log in, as soon as I materialize in my world, it was over there.
So by the bookcase or whatever it is, by the glass case and the.
Yep.
Okay. Because I look over there and I see a my calendar.
Right.
And the bookcase and the fish tank.
Right.
That's it.
Now, what I want to know is what happened to our Omni-Roll combat armor. Oh, never mind. That's the one.
Yeah, we'll get that when that's something we might get when we go into the actual getting closer to first-person shooters and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And that's another thing. We got to talk about first-person shooting at some point.
Yep, we do.
You know, we need to talk about not strategies and tactics and stuff, but just the whole concept of it, and because we talk a lot about ships and space and combat and stuff like that, but we do need to talk about on planet, and now would be kind of a good time to do that since they just released some information about one of the worlds. But I don't think combat's going to happen on that planet. It's just there for looks and getting missions and gear from that one place. But it looks really good, though. I was really excited to watch that video.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that was cool.
let me think. What else? Do we need to say anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, so we'll do role-playing next week. And,
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's it. And so if you guys want to blow up some mechs, we could do that. We can jump over to Mech Warrior. If not, I'm going to do some Arena Commander. But either way, because I want to find my jukebox. But speaking of that, this is what might have happened with my jukebox. That might have been part of a patch that happened during that 1 or 2 week period that I wasn't a subscriber.
Oh.
Because I was a subscriber for almost a year now, and then my credit card expired, right? And so I was in the process of getting a new one, and when I got my new one, Star Citizen was not the first thing I thought about updating my accounts. So I didn't go to that account and update my credit card the way I should have. So it expired. It hit the end of the month or whatever, and it said, your subscription is over. And I was like,
sucks.
What? I said, okay, no problem. I'll just go in and restart it or whatever. They don't allow you to restart it. You got to start a whole brand new subscription. I can't click on it. I can't click on it and say change credit card, resume, or nothing like that. It was like, click the second button here, which is become a subscriber. And I was like, what? So I click it, and now I'm a 1 month subscriber.
Oh.
So it's all right, though. I mean, I can do without a jukebox. But you can actually pick different music, right?
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, okay. Because I think you can click it and pick different music. That's my understanding.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I have not seen the Ace Combat fighter pilot in the Arena Commander yet. I can't wait to see him and shoot him down. Yeah, Ross came online on the chat, but he only said he's a bit late, and then I said sorry about our connection because we were fading in and out, and he goes no problem, and that was it. That was like an hour ago.
Well, we'll have enough people that will see this.
Yeah, I don't. Have you guys even looked at the previous videos to see how many people have viewed them?
I
I like-
haven't.